Okay, so, you know, I really love using my car's GPS. Like, it's a lifesaver when I'm trying to find, a new restaurant or something.
Oh, yeah.
But what if that convenience, using our GPS and all, what if that came at a cost?
Hmm.
Like the vulnerability of our personal data.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at today in this deep dive.
Right.
So we're going through this recent Tech Target article about it was a pretty big data breach.
Oh, wow.
And it impacted Volkswagen Group, the EV owners.
Okay.
But we're not just talking about like a few emails here. This
Yeah.
breach exposed like where the cars were,
Yeah.
when they were on and off,
Hmm.
even owners' home addresses. Like, this is a big deal.
So it wasn't just, basic information. It was really personal stuff.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of people.
Wow.
Across all these different brands, Volkswagen, Audi, Seat, Skoda. Like, it's a lot.
That is a lot. That's concerning, especially with how much we rely on these technologies. I mean, it's not just the car itself. It's the data that's being transmitted.
Yeah, exactly. It's all connected.
Right.
But hold on. How did this even happen?
Right.
Was there like someone at the Volkswagen factory with a USB drive? Like, what happened?
Well, not quite. It wasn't like a break-in or anything. It was
Okay.
more like they left the door wide open.
What?
Yeah, it was a misconfigured Amazon cloud storage system,
Huh?
which was managed by 𝐜𝐴D, which is a Volkswagen subsidiary.
Okay.
So essentially, they left sensitive data just kind of out in the open for anyone to find.
Seriously. They just left it out there? Like, you'd think Volkswagen would have good security in place.
Yeah, you would think so, but, these cloud misconfigurations are actually more common than you might think.
Really?
Yeah, even big companies make these mistakes. It just highlights how important it is to have really strong security all the time.
So it wasn't like some hacker breaking in. It was just human error.
Exactly, just not being careful enough.
Wow. And how bad was this? Like, how much data are we talking about?
Horrible. It affected over 800,000 EV owners,
Right.
including politicians and even the Hamburg police.
Seriously?
Yeah, and it wasn't just Germany either. We're talking about data from all across Europe. Norway, Sweden, UK, Netherlands, France, Belgium, Denmark. It's a lot.
It's like a domino effect.
Yeah, and, this wasn't just an inconvenience for people. This data could really impact people's lives, like identity theft or stalking. Those are very real possibilities.
That's terrifying. I mean, it makes you think twice about how much we share online.
It really does, and that's what makes this story so important to me. It's not just a technical glitch. It's about real people and how this mistake affects their lives.
So I'm guessing there's a twist to this story.
You got it.
Like, it wasn't some evil hacker who found this data, right?
Right. It gets interesting here. So it was an anonymous hacker who found this vulnerability.
Okay.
But instead of using it for bad, stealing data or whatever,
Right.
they reported it to the Chaos Computer Club, which is a European ethical hacking group.
Wait, so they did the right thing. They could have gotten a lot of money for that data.
Yeah. They absolutely could have, but they chose to report it instead, which is pretty incredible.
So ethical hacking is a real thing. Like, that's a job.
Oh, yeah, it's a real thing. And it's super important in cybersecurity. Ethical hackers, they use their skills to find these vulnerabilities, and then they help the companies fix them before someone with bad intentions finds them.
So they're like the good guys.
Exactly. They're like the watchdogs of the internet, making sure everything is safe.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So in this case, the Chaos Computer Club, they verified the problem, and then they told 𝐜𝐴D and Volkswagen.
Right.
So they could fix it.
Exactly. So they were able to close that vulnerability really quickly.
That's a good ending. But still, if this could happen to Volkswagen, a huge company, what about all the other companies out there? Are we safe?
That's the question, isn't it? And it's something we all need to be thinking about more and more as technology keeps advancing. I mean, this Volkswagen breach shows us that even companies with supposedly good security can make big mistakes. And it's not just about setting a strong password, it's much bigger than that.
So what can we do?
That's what we're going to dig into. We need to understand how data security works, and we need to demand more transparency from companies, and we have to be proactive in keeping our own information safe.
Okay, so there's a lot more to this story.
Oh, yeah. This is just the beginning. We're going to go deeper into data privacy, especially with connected cars, and really connected everything.
All right, I'm ready to dive in.
Let's do it. It's interesting you say that about connected everything, because this Volkswagen thing, it's not just about cars. It's about how all these companies are handling our data.
Yeah.
Our phones, smart homes, our fitness trackers.
Yeah, it's all tracking us.
All of it. It's constantly collecting information.
And I bet most people don't even realize it,
Yeah.
right?
That's the scary part. We just click accept on those terms and conditions.
Oh, yeah, those long things.
Yeah, without even thinking about it. But this, what happened with Volkswagen, it's a wake-up call.
Yeah, for sure.
We need to be asking, like, what are these companies collecting? Why do they even need this data? And are they keeping it safe?
Okay, so being more aware of what we share, that's important. But what about the companies themselves? Are they responsible for keeping our data safe?
That's the big question, right? This whole thing really makes you question Volkswagen's security. Like, how could this even happen?
Yeah, how did they miss this?
Leaving all that sensitive data just out there in the open for months, that's a huge mistake.
It's a bit shocking, honestly.
Yeah, it's a massive security failure, and it could have some serious consequences for Volkswagen.
Like what kind of consequences?
Well, for starters, their reputation takes a hit, but it could also lead to legal issues and fines.
Oh, right, because of data protection laws.
Yeah, exactly. And, speaking of laws, there's a lot of debate right now about connected car regulations.
I can imagine it's pretty new territory.
It is. It's like the Wild West out there, but I think this Volkswagen incident could lead to some stricter rules.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a turning point.
We've seen it happen in other industries like finance and healthcare after big data breaches. Stricter laws usually follow.
So more regulations are probably coming, but in the meantime, what can we do to protect ourselves?
It can feel like we're powerless, but we're not.
Okay, that's good to hear.
The first step is awareness. We need to read those privacy policies. I know they're boring.
Ugh, yeah, the worst.
But we need to know what we're agreeing to, what data they're collecting, how they're using it, who they're sharing it with.
I get it, but
Yeah.
who actually reads those things?
I know, it's a lot, but it's important. And then we need to be proactive. We can't just accept the default settings on our devices.
So, like, going into the settings and changing things.
Exactly. Take some time to look at the privacy options, customize them. You can often limit data collection without losing any features.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. What about all the apps we use? They always want access to everything, location, contacts, camera. It's a little creepy.
It is creepy. You have to be careful with app permissions. Think about it. Do they really need your location to work?
That's a good point.
If not, deny it. You can always change the permissions later if you need to.
Okay, so be selective about what we allow.
Exactly. Don't just click allow without thinking. And, even if we're careful going forward, what about the data that's already out there?
Yeah, all the stuff we've already shared.
That's tough. We can't go back in time, but we can be more careful from now on.
So how do we do that?
Think twice before you post personal stuff on social media.
Yeah.
Maybe use a privacy-focused browser and search engine.
Okay.
And be careful with those free online services. They're often using your data to make money.
Oh, right. I hadn't thought about that.
It's always a trade-off, convenience versus privacy.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is, and as technology gets more advanced, we need to be aware of these trade-offs. It's not about being anti-technology.
Right.
It's about being smart and informed users.
Okay, so being aware, proactive, and a little skeptical.
Yeah, those are the key takeaways.
But this goes way beyond Volkswagen, right? This is about data privacy everywhere.
It is. It's a problem for anyone who uses technology. We're collecting more data than ever before, and that comes with huge risks to our privacy.
It's almost too much to think about. Where do we even start to fix this?
Well, we need a change in how we think about data privacy. It's not something we can just ignore.
Yeah.
It's a fundamental right. It needs to be protected.
So individuals need to take control, companies need to have strong security, and governments need to make stricter rules.
Exactly. It has to come from all sides. We need a culture where privacy is valued, not treated like something we can buy and sell.
That's a big goal. How do we even get there?
It seems impossible, but we can do it. We can support organizations fighting for better privacy laws. We can hold companies accountable for how they use our data.
And make sure they're doing the right thing.
Right. And we can choose to support companies that care about privacy.
So it's about all of us working together.
Exactly. We need to speak up and demand better from the companies and from our governments. We deserve a future where our privacy is respected.
I like that. A future where privacy is a right, not a privilege.
Exactly. It's time to take back control of our data and build a digital world where privacy matters.
This deep dive has been, I don't know, kind of eye-opening.
Yeah.
Like, we started talking about electric vehicles,
Right.
and now we're talking about, like, the whole digital world.
It's all connected, right?
It is. It's crazy. And this Volkswagen thing, it just shows how much bigger this issue is.
Yeah. It's not going away as we use more and more technology.
Right. The more data they collect, the more risk to our privacy.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the breach, the vulnerability, what it means for people and companies, even government regulations.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. But before we wrap up, I wanted to go back to something you said earlier about, like, a mindset shift,
Oh, yeah.
that we need to think differently about data privacy.
Exactly. It can't be an afterthought. It's got to be a priority.
Okay, I get that. But for most people, it's just so overwhelming. Like, where do you even start?
It starts with just being curious, asking questions.
Like, what kind of questions?
Well, like when you download an app, do they really need to know where you are? Do they need your contacts? When you're online, who's watching? Who's collecting that information? And those privacy policies don't just click accept. Take a minute to see what you're agreeing to.
So it's about being more aware, actually thinking about what we're doing online.
Exactly. Be present, be mindful.
And you said we have rights?
We absolutely do. You have the right to know what data they're collecting about you, how they're using it, who they're sharing it with.
Okay.
You have the right to see your own data, make sure it's correct. And you can even delete it if you want.
That's good. So we're not totally helpless.
No, not at all. You have a voice. Use it.
Yeah.
If you're worried about a company, tell them. Call their customer support. Write a review. Post about it online. They pay attention when they know we're watching.
So we got to be informed, proactive, and hold them accountable.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't just about Volkswagen. This is about all of us.
Yeah, this whole digital world we live in.
This is a wake-up call. What we do online matters. It has real consequences.
So what's the one thing you want people to remember from this?
This is not a lost cause. We can fight for our privacy, and it starts with each of us being aware, being proactive, demanding better from these companies. We can make a difference.
That's inspiring. So to our listeners, take a look at your privacy settings. Think about who's collecting your data, and remember, you have the power to protect your information. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay in control.